Kathleen, thanks for joining us. You've been following the proposed day school class action settlement agreement. What's the latest?
Well, Dennis, finally some good news for these day school survivors. They're former students who were forced to go to these residential schools during the day but could go home at the end of the school day because they lived nearby. It had been on hold in the last few weeks because of a legal challenge initiated by an Indigenous leader in northern Quebec, but he has now dropped those challenges.
There's been a lot of ups and downs with this agreement. What was the latest hiccup?
Right, so this Chief Ottawa is his name. He had a couple of issues he wanted the court to address, and so he thought filing a challenge to this class action was a good way to bring attention to his issues. But the court turned down one of his appeals, and the other one he was deciding whether he was going to go forward. And then there was a call from the national chief of the Assembly of First Nations, Perry Bellegarde. He sent this letter his office shared with me today, and it talks about how Chief Bellegarde met with Chief Ottawa and also the regional chief in Quebec. They talked about it. They decided it would be best to drop these challenges so that the compensation process could go ahead and stop upsetting between 120,000 and 140,000 survivors of the day school system.
And so what does this all now mean for those survivors?
Well, it means we're going to find out early in the new year a date for when compensation will begin being paid out. It's been a long time coming, a lot of stops and starts, as you mentioned earlier, but it sounds like we're on the very last leg of getting this thing settled, and these adults now who were children who suffered harms by being forced by Canada to attend these schools, they can finally receive some compensation for their experiences. Many say they had bad experiences, and it can wrap up this settlement.
Kathleen, appreciate you joining us here to bring us this latest.
You're welcome, Dennis.